Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P Funk. Thinking right out here in my lab where I do what I do for you. Today, right isn't 25 weeks led by storytelling, story with a message, message in a story for life. It's a life lesson. I'm giving them, you turning and receiving them. We got a good thing going. Let's keep rolling. Let's go. Right thinking mission, and I'm on it, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment, getting to know yourself a little bit better from the inside out. Right thinking is way of life through mental and spiritual discipline. Practice daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. That's my mission. This is my question to all my right thinkers because you need to know yourself for yourself. Know thyself. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Always remember and understand that fact. Disregard them. Going nowhere. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. I can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Stay tuned. I got you. A person who knows not and believes that they know, you know how I feel about them. Dangerous. Most religious zealots. Excuse me. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is asleep. I can awaken them with knowledge of self. I'm the spiritual alarm clock. I wake you up with knowledge of self. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. Right thinkers, all these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, all of y'all, know thyself. And to Maya be true. You have to understand balance between everything you do in life. Too much one way, not good. Too much the other way, still not good. Balance is important, okay? Right thinkers, let's talk about the education of myths. I'm going to read the definition to you from Google, okay? This is their definition. A myth is a symbolic narrative, usually of unknown origin and at least partly traditional, that ostensibly relates to actual events and that especially associated with what? Religious beliefs. So most religions are based on myths. Let's go. I know how to use a myth to learn lessons, to give lessons, not to be fooled by one who, no. The purpose of it is to educate and enlighten and inform you. That's storytelling with a message in it, aka myth. Let's go. Myths are a way of teaching life's spiritual lessons to enlighten you to yourself. That's what the story is for. You hear the story, you understand the story, you relate to the story, you meditate on the story, you reflect on the story, and then you put it to use for yourself. The story has a message for you to follow. Myths, if you learn them and understand them, most people don't, you will become what? Enlightened. This is why if you don't understand it, you're not going to become enlightened. Enlightened means you're learning something. You are informed with information that you didn't have. Now you do. So now you can do, be, and act on another level. Why? Because you have information that you can use from the myth, the storytelling. If you understand them, watch this. Myths tell stories that relays what? A hidden message. Most of the time, esoteric storytelling has a hidden message in it. Cult followers, they speak with esoteric knowledge, so understand that. And the myths are basically allegorical stories, same thing, to give you a lesson. Myths are told to, storytelling, they rely on a hidden message for what? The truth seekers. You have to break the myth down, get to understand it, because there's a message in there. You're in search of truth, you will understand and find the message in the story. Watch this. Myths are told to what? Educate you what? Philosophically, so that what? You can be able to master you with the philosophical concepts that the myths will give you to follow, learn, and implement. I know how to use myths, storytelling to teach a concept you can live by, aka hence right thinking philosophy. It's not a religion. I tell you that all the time. It's a way of life. Full with myth and allegorical stories to teach you lessons. I know that they're not real. I know that they're myths. We got people who read the Bible and think they're real. They're myths too. Newsflash. The reason for myths. We tell our children bedtime stories. I used to pray before I went to bed. I got a story before I went to bed. These are all life lessons. We're way far away from that. Parents don't sit down with their kids and tell them stories. Google it. MTV or YouTube, whatever. But it ain't being done, handed down traditionally. So you have to put it in story form. Hopefully they get the message. I'm a man with spiritual knowledge because of the myths that I've been studied and I learned over the years, and I live by them. Why? Because I know the message in the myth. I figured it out. I use them. I understand them. So now I teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. I know spiritual knowledge is myth-based, but it's knowledge that you can use and better yourself with philosophically. You have to be able to understand and break down things philosophically so you can relate to them, understand them, and then you can use them. Watch this. The Bible, the Bible is just a book of myth and allegorical stories. Stories to get you to tell you about Jesus the Christ, Paul the Apostle. Everybody that's in there have a reason and purpose to be there. Understand that it's a story, it's a myth, it's an allegorical story to teach you. I'm learning biblical knowledge now. I'm learning it. I never professed to know it, but I can learn it now. I choose to. It's a choice. All right? There you go. Watch this. Got to keep that concept. So one thing, well, what you doing is just, hey, you're doing it different. To ask me about my mythological gods and not know about your own, get in the books, do some work, and get you some information, because all the information I have about what you do is public information. You can have it. Why don't you? It's another lesson we ain't going there. Here you go. I'm breaking down the power of myths. The Bible is a book of myths. I know that. Most of the Christian followers don't. It's not my problem. It's not my issue. I teach mythological concepts. Yes, the lessons and the knowledge that I teach are myths brought on so that you can understand nature, God, and everything here. That's what we do for you. I learned the myths. I gained the mastery of what? Self. By what? Implementing what I learned from the myths. Yes, that's why I keep them alive. That's why I teach them. That's why I put them out there. Why? They're lessons. Again, life lessons. A good myth will inspire, motivate you to do the things you have to do for yourself. If I can inspire you with a story, if I can inspire you with an analogy or a concept that will get you to do what you need to do, I did my job. All myth-based. Don't worry. But the stories I tell, my life story, not myths. My stories are based on my experience. So I don't tell myths when it's time I'm doing this. Myths is in my lessons. But life lessons ain't nothing mythical about this. It's all real. P-Funk. Understand that. There you go. Let's go. Where am I? Okay. The knowledge you get from myths are what I call life lessons. They're to serve you better so you can live better, do better, and be better. The Trinity of Asar, Aset, and Haru is a life lesson we all can learn from. We know it's a myth. I do. I teach my students to know that. But you treat them as if it was real because it becomes part of you. The Bible has some good mythological stories in it also. I'm finding that out from somebody who's teaching me and understanding how they break down what it's about. So I get the message, I get the lesson. I ain't got a problem with none of that. The Quran is, again, a book of myths, also a very good life lesson book that if you follow it, it will help you. Simple. Torah, the Talmud, whatever you want to call it, the 5 books of Moses. Also, mythological stories. We know that a fact. Moses don't know the beginning, but he started the book off in the beginning. How you know? Somebody had to tell you. That's where I'm going. I'm going further. I'm going before you. So somebody had to give you that information you got. That's the difference. That's why I study ancient Egyptian concepts. Okay? The book of Coming Forth by Day, which is the book I follow, is full of mythological stories to teach you life lessons. It haven't changed over centuries. It's the same thing. Let me wrap this up. I ain't going in. I'm just trying to get this message across about myths. Trust me, that's all your books are full of. Nobody knows. Myths, the way to teach spiritual truth to what? Know thyself. They know that if you understand this, you can figure it out and you implement it, you see how they work out. I practice my yacht. I know it works. The myth of, again, Haru, the journey, the myth of the hero's journey by my man Joseph Campbell. And for everyone who wants to know themselves, listen to a good storyteller, James Earl Jones. We got Morgan Freeman. Those guys who got that calm and smooth voice that you can listen to, and they can tell you whatever they want, and that's what it's all about. Okay, but they're telling you mythological, allegorical stories from their perspective. We are all storytellers. When teaching myths are good education, teaching myths is a good educational tool to get your point across. I'm a philosopher. I do a lot of talking, but the words, the rhetoric that's coming out of my mouth should be in tune with what I'm trying to get the point across. Not just talking to be talking. Wise man speak because he got something to say. Ignorant man speak because he can. I'm a master of myths, aka spiritual knowledge. I teach myths and they work. Why? Once you implement it, once you understand it, you can work with it. That's what they're for, to educate you, to enlighten you, to motivate you, to do all the things you need to do. Why? With the story. It's all with the story, okay? The better and the more interesting the myth, the better the lesson is going to be. Why? Because it just engulfs you and you become part of it. It sucks you right in. You incorporate it in your life. Christ. Myths are storytelling with a message, and that's right thinking philosophy right there for you. That's what I do for you. Hope you enjoyed the quick lesson. I'll be back. Gotta go.